Welcome back to the Conservation Cast. I'm your host, Devan George, the Communications Coordinator here at the Pike County Conservation District. I want to thank you all so much for joining us for our Dirt and Gravel Road episode. It's going to be very exciting. In this episode, our guest is going to be talking to us about the connection between road maintenance and good water quality in your watershed. If you don't know what I mean when I say a watershed, or you want some more information on watersheds, go back and listen to our first episode, which will introduce you to the topic, and you'll be an expert by the end of it, and then you can come back and join us. Now, it might not be obvious right away what the connection is between a dirt or gravel road and water quality, because the two never really seemed connected in my head, at least, until I met our guest today, who is the perfect person to talk to us about road maintenance, Chris Ingulli. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Devin.
Thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here.
And Chris is our administrative manager here at the district, but he is also the leader of our Dirt and Gravel Road program. How long have you been with the district, Chris?
I've been with the district for 5 years now.
Almost 5 years to the week, right? You just had your work anniversary. Well, happy work anniversary.
Thank you.
One of my favorite words. So you live in Pike County, correct?
Yes.
And what do you like to do in Pike County outside? I always like to ask our guests fun things they like to do.
Yeah, I really enjoy walks with my family, spending time in my garden, and of course kayaking down the Lackawaxen River.
Nice. Now, you just had a little baby, right?
We did.
Have you taken her on a hike yet?
Just walks.
Just walks
on the road.
Not too far.
Not
She's too new.
A little bit small for that yet.
All right. So you are here to talk to us about the Dirt and Gravel Road program. Now, tell me and tell everyone listening, what is the Dirt and Gravel Road program?
Sure. So I'll give you a little history about this program. So the Dirt and Gravel Road program was started in 1997 from an initiative by Trout Unlimited in conjunction with Penn State University's Center for Dirt and Gravel Roads, the State Conservation Commission, and local conservation districts. The goal of the program is to reduce pollution to nearby streams while improving the rural road network. One of the qualification requirements of the program is to direct funding to work sites where road runoff is affecting water quality of the nearby stream.
Nice. So runoff, we've talked about before, like I said, in our watersheds episode, but we also talk in some of our other episodes about non-point source pollution. And runoff, especially from roads, is a great example of that, right?
Absolutely. And this problem was first noticed back in 1991 by Trout Unlimited. They created a task force on dirt and gravel roads in 1993 to investigate, research, and document the significance of sediment and dust pollution resulting from dirt and gravel road maintenance practices. In 1996 through 1998, volunteers from Trout Unlimited drove thousands of miles of unpaved roads in an effort to identify pollution sites in Pennsylvania. These efforts resulted in the identification and assessment of over 900 sites in protected watersheds that were being negatively impacted by these unpaved roads.
Wow, 900 sites.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
In 1997, a law, Section 9106 of the Pennsylvania Vehicle Code, was enacted establishing the Dirt and Gravel Maintenance Program. This law provided an annual allocation of $5 million, $4 million going to the State Conservation Commission, and $1 million going to the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. In the year 2000, conservation districts completed assessments in all Pennsylvania watersheds and identified over 12,000 pollution sites statewide.
Wow.
In 2001, the Center for Dirt and Gravel Road Studies was formally created at Penn State University to handle training, outreach, and technical assistance aspects of the program. In 2013, Act 89 of 2013 was enacted, which increased program funding from $5 million to $35 million annually. The Act dedicated $28 million of this to the State Conservation Commission and also mandates that $8 million of the money be used for maintenance on low-volume paved roads with less than 500 cars per day, thus creating the low-volume roads portion of the program. This funding is apportioned by the State Conservation Commission to conservation districts through a 5-year contract. Allocation amounts are determined using formulas developed by the Center for Dirt and Gravel Roads, with input from advisory work groups and ultimately approved by the State Conservation Commission.
So that's a little bit of the history of our Dirt and Gravel Road program here at the district, which is a program that I think not a lot of people know about, so it's good to get a little bit of the background. The big question that we want to know is, how does repairing these roads relate to conservation? Why us? Why are we doing this?
This study was originally done to determine how dust and sediment from these roads were impacting our streams, and sediment is the largest pollutant by volume to waters of the Commonwealth. Pennsylvania has roughly 20,000 miles of unpaved, publicly owned roads. Many of these roads lie within close proximity to streams, lakes, ponds, and wetlands. And during stormwater events, road sediment can be carried to these surface waters, resulting in sediment pollution that can be very detrimental to the water quality and aquatic organisms. Traditional practice in road maintenance has been to convey water along the roads and direct it to a nearby surface water as quickly as possible. This practice is not only a major source of sediment pollution, but also creates increased flows within streams and can result in flooding. One of the main objectives of the Dirt and Gravel Road program is to address stormwater drainage from the roadways by breaking up flows and directing stormwater to forested or other vegetated areas to infiltrate and drop out any sediment before reaching a stream.
If you're familiar with the work of the Conservation District, you might have picked up on a few words there that sounded very much like something that we'd be interested in. Maybe you heard sediment, stormwater, infiltration, any of these things that we talk about a lot. But other than just some keywords, how does the Dirt and Gravel Road program relate back to the work we do here at the Conservation District?
Yeah, Pike County Conservation District is committed to the long-term protection and sustainable use of Pike County's natural resources. The Dirt, Gravel, Low-Volume Road program plays right into that mission by providing funding and technical assistance to our public road-owning entities so that they can improve and maintain their road systems in an environmentally sensitive way. The practices that the program works to implement on these projects not only aids in sediment pollution reduction, but in many cases lower overall maintenance costs for the road-owning entity. For example, when we're able to reduce the amount of stormwater traveling down a road surface, we minimize the potential for washouts that can often happen on dirt and gravel roads. If the underlying drainage issues contributing these washouts is never addressed, it often becomes a perpetual problem that the road owner has to take a lot of time and spend a lot of money on fixing.
Now, what's a washout?
A washout is when you get a heavy stormwater event and water collects and it works its way down the road, and as it works its way down the road it picks up speed, it gains more volume, and it increases the force that the water moves at. And when that happens, it takes with it your stone and your dirt and your gravel, and you can also often lose parts of your road that way.
If people have listened to the podcast before, they know that that's one of my favorite terms because it says exactly what it is. I love terms that say exactly what they are, like runoff. It's perfect. So at the beginning of the podcast, you told us a little bit about the history of the Dirt and Gravel Road program in all of Pennsylvania. But I know we've done some really great projects specifically here in Pike County. Tell us a little bit about the history of the program right here.
Sure. So far, we've completed 56 dirt and gravel road projects worth $1,815,350 and 5 low-volume road projects worth roughly $230,000. I continue to work closely with our municipalities, who we most frequently work with, to provide technical assistance and develop applications and ultimately implement projects.
Can you give us a couple recent examples of projects? Maybe people drive on them without even realizing it.
Yeah, one of our recent projects, it was done about 2 years ago in Green Township, and the road name is Sawmill Road. So we had a couple problems on this road, which included entrenchment. Entrenchment means the road banks are higher than the road itself. This type of situation can result in water being trapped on the road surface during stormwater events, and as it works its way down the road, it increases in speed and volume, taking with it a lot of your road surfaces, causing some of those washouts we discussed before. Another problem on this road was the water was coming from an off-site parking area and draining directly onto Sawmill Road, resulting in serious icing problems in the wintertime. In order to address these problems, we added over 600 tons of road fill to elevate the road above the high banks and give water a chance to flow out into the surrounding forest. We also installed 2 water bars or grade breaks on the off-site parking area, which are essentially very broad mounds of compacted stone that are able to redirect stormwater away from the road. Other environmentally sensitive maintenance practices implemented on this project include culvert pipe addition and replacement, and reshaping and stabilization of ditches. The project was finished with the application of 1,650 tons of driving surface aggregate, which is a special mixture of crushed stone developed by the Center for Dirt and Gravel Roads, specifically designed to resist erosion and stand up to the forces of traffic. This project took roughly 2 weeks to complete and cost about $96,000.
So that was a dirt and gravel road project. What about a low volume road project? And can you tell us again what does it mean to be a low volume road?
Sure. So a low volume road is a road that's either paved or chip and tarred, or it's a sealed bound surface as opposed to a stone, dirt, or gravel road. And another requirement for a low volume road is that they have traffic of less than 500 cars per day. So we had this situation in Shahola Township on a road called Flagstone Road. Now, Flagstone Road is located along the Delaware River. The surrounding area has many springs that surface above the road and eventually travel alongside and underneath the road. The majority of this flow is directed through a very old, hand-laid stone culvert that was partially blocked by a dislodged stone. To make matters worse, the stone culvert also traveled beneath a building before discharging towards the Delaware River. During high-flow storm events, there is the potential that the half-blocked stone culvert could be plugged or overwhelmed, resulting in a road washout. The best long-term solution would have been to replace the stone culvert pipe with a larger plastic pipe, but there was the potential of destabilizing the building foundation that the culvert passes beneath. So in order to address this issue, a high-water bypass pipe was installed right next to the existing stone culvert to transport any overflow water during a stormwater event before it was able to wash out the roadway. Additional environmentally sensitive maintenance practices implemented on this project were culvert pipe replacements, ditch stabilization, and pavement of the road surface. The project took approximately 1 week to complete and cost about $62,000.
So now that we've heard about all these great projects that you've done already, and we all live in Pennsylvania, so I'm sure everyone listening is thinking, my road needs improvement. So now the big question is, who can apply? Who can apply for this program?
Public entities that own public roads in Pennsylvania that are open to public vehicle traffic are eligible to apply to districts for program funding. Eligible entities include municipalities, PA Department of Transportation, or PennDOT, Pennsylvania Game Commission, Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission, county and other government entities, and the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. The person who is in charge of the work plan development as well as project implementation for the entity that applied for the funds must have attended an environmentally sensitive maintenance training within the past 5 calendar years to become ESM certified.
So that's everybody that is eligible to apply for this program. Is there anyone that is ineligible for the program?
Yes, so privately owned roads are not eligible for program funding. That includes roads in community associations that are not open and accessible to the public and not owned by a public entity. We are open to providing technical assistance to those community associations and anybody with a private road to maybe talk about some of the practices we would have put if it were a public road, but they can't apply for funding.
So if you are eligible for this program, how can you apply?
Blank applications can be found on the Center for Dirt and Gravel Road Studies website at www.dirtandgravel.psu.edu. Before you apply, a pre-application meeting with the district is required. At this meeting, we will walk through the site, identify the problems, discuss potential solutions, and review any special permitting or other requirements that may be necessary. The good news is that the law that is responsible for the creation of this program requires simplified grant applications in order to encourage participation and make the process as painless as possible. I am available and happy to work with applicants every step of the way from pre-application through project completion.
And you're great to work with, so people should be
Thank you.
should be excited to get road funding. You've given us a lot of really great information today. Is there anything else that you'd like to include that you want our listeners to know about the Dirt and Gravel Road program?
Yes. If you require ESM or environmentally sensitive maintenance training, a list of training dates and locations can also be found on the Center for Dirt and Gravel Road Studies website. The district also offers an education grant to potential applicants to provide supplemental funding for ESM trainings sponsored by the Center for Dirt and Gravel Road Studies. For more details on that and the program, please contact the district at 570-226-8220.
Hopefully you all found this information incredibly helpful for your upcoming road projects. Thank you so much for talking to us today, Chris.
Thank you, Devan.
And thank you all for listening to this episode of the Conservation Cast. As a reminder, all our episodes are available on our website, www.pikeconservation.org, and on iTunes. Just search the Conservation Cast and hit subscribe to hear this and future episodes. Financial and other support for this podcast has been provided by the Department of Environmental Protection's 2019 Environmental Education Grants Program. You can find out more about our Dirt and Gravel Roads program in our news section of our website and under the Dirt and Gravel Road Maintenance Workshop. Thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you next time on the Conservation Cast.